Guys, how's it going out there? Rooster and 10, roostercb.com, and got a RM station 550, 110 volt base amp here in front of us. You don't see a lot of these. I wouldn't say they're rare. Just don't see a ton of them out there floating around. And this one's in pretty good shape. I actually took it in on trade against some new radio equipment here a couple weeks ago, and just now getting a chance to kind of hook it up and test it. It does have power supply jacks on the front that are at 13.56 volts. I hooked my multimeter up to it. I mean, I guess I can do that here on camera, just in case anybody's wondering. But I did test it with the multimeter, and it did check out. So, but we'll show you guys that real quick here. I don't guess anybody's in a hurry to be anywhere. All right. Okay, so there you go, 13.5 volts basically. I don't really recommend people to use those jacks myself. It just seems like it puts an unnecessary strain on the amplifier because it is basically sharing the power supply with the radio. But if that's something you want to do, that's up to you. I think they made a couple of versions of these. I've had the blue version before, and again, somebody will correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe the blue version runs 28 volt transistors, and this one I believe runs 12 volt transistors. I could be wrong on that though, so don't 100% quote me. I have not had the covers off of it to check, but that's just what I believe to be true. Again, I could be wrong. Moving on, it has on and off power switch here, of course, pretty self-explanatory there. Hello. It does have a on the air light, which is kind of cool. Check. And the meter on the front does work. Now, hello, audio. And it seems to be fairly accurate. It goes over to 600, and we'll show the output and everything on the bird meter here in a second, but that thing seems to be fairly accurate. Has a standby switch if you want to put it on standby. The sideband switch, you know, I'm going to say if it has a sideband delay, it's very slight. I can't really tell just by using the AM radio. And I didn't really feel like digging out a sideband radio hookup to it, but I can't really tell. So, take that for what it is. Now, one thing it does have that is kind of unique, and some people will love this, is it has a variable preamp. Now, that's with the preamp turned on all the way down. Now, I want you guys to hear the difference. A little bit of static comes in on my radio in the background. Off, on, and then we're going to slightly roll it up here. So the thing about the preamp on these guys, it actually brings in more of the signal than it does the trash. A lot of the preamps out there, I mean, some people they'll want to order a preamp from me when they get an amplifier and have it added. To me, it's a waste of money. But if that's how people will spend their money, I'm not going to argue with them. But to me, getting a preamp put on some of these new amps, it's just a waste of money. The preamp on these guys is actually pretty nice, if that's what you like. Now, I'm not a big fan of preamps anyway, because the way I look at it is like, why is it my job to make myself be able to hear you? If I can't hear you, you need to pump it up. You need to put some fire in the wire or get you a dadgum antenna. But that's just the way I look at it. Other thing that's kind of cool about it, it does have a variable output, 6 stages, which we will test. I haven't even tested every stage of it yet, so hopefully all of them work, but we've got it wide open right now. And the one thing that I will say about it, the only knock I have on it, on this one in particular, is the input connector back here on the back left. You guys can see where I'm pointing. The input connector where your radio is going to feed into, that SO239 is about worn out. And I thought that this amp was a dud when I first hooked it up because it wouldn't put out any power. And then I looked over at my radio, and the meter was slamming to the right on my radio, and I'm like, oh my God, this thing's got an input problem bad. But I wiggled the coax back there, and it's fine. So I just had to make sure that the jumper was pushed up in there very, very well and tightened up and everything, and now it's good to go. But again, if I moved it to the left or the right, it may, come loose or whatever again, may not be making good connection back there. But that's just something you need to be aware of before you buy it. It is going to need that SO239 replaced, which is not really that big of a deal. And again, you know, just being upfront about it. But let's test this guy out and see how it does and wrap this video up. Now, I'm only going to be hitting it with my Uniden, and again, this thing, I didn't do my research on it before the video. It may be able to take more drive than that. It's rated at 550. We're not going to see that much out of it, so it's possible that this thing can take a little bit more drive than what I'm putting into it. But we're going to hit it with the Uniden, 10 watts, average 35 PEP, and we'll zoom in over here to our 500 watt slug. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to test the average power on every stage first, because I want to show you guys how the dead key goes down. So this is going to be number 6. You can see it jumps up to about 50 watts there on the middle scale. It's got like a little bit of a delay to it before it jumps up. Like a half-second delay there. But it jumps up to 50 watts, and if you run less dead key in it than what I am, which I think I'm putting about 1.5 watts in it, it won't even key the thing up. So watch this. See, I just barely touched my RF power and it went down to nothing. About 40 watts there. So let's go to the 5th stage. Oh, let me check average power first. Hello? Hello? About 175, 185 there. This is going to be the 5th stage. Well, it knocks the dead key down quite a bit. Hello? To about 150 average. This is going to be the 4th stage. Hello? 3rd stage. Hello? 2nd stage. Hello? 1st stage. Hello? So that's pretty cool. All the way down, it's going to act more like a modulator than all the way up. Let's check it on PEP, and we're just going to go in the opposite direction here. We're going to go from lowest to high. So this is PEP, or peak output power. Hello, audio 1, 2, 3. Middle scale, audio about 250. 2nd stage. Hello, audio 1, 2, 3. Audio 1, 2, 3. About 350. 3rd stage. Hello, audio 1, 2, 3. Audio 1, 2, 3. Audio about 385. 4th stage. Hello, audio 1, 2, 3. Audio 1, 2, 3. 400. 5th stage. Hello, audio 1, 2, 3. Audio 1, 2, 3. Audio about 415. And the final stage. Hello, audio 1, 2, 3. Audio 1, 2, 3. Audio about 450 there. Hello. And when you know, this thing is showing pretty close to the same. So that is pretty cool that it shows a relatively accurate output power. But that's it, guys. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot else to say about it. I'm not an expert on these. Have not owned one in a long time, but this one seems to be working well. Again, my only thing that I'm going to tell you guys is that SO239 on the back left corner is eventually going to need replaced. You know, if you want to replace it when you get it, fine. You can make it work. It's working right now. And it will depend on the size jumper that you use with it, I'm sure, because what has happened is somebody has probably had some homemade jumpers or some cheap jumpers, and they've had, you know, solder globbed up on the end of it, and they just jammed it into the back of the amp, and it's spread that SO239 out on the inside. So now when you have an actual proper sized coax end, it doesn't get the greatest connection sometimes. Okay, that's it, everybody. Ham Power Linear Amplifier RM Italy Station 550 Base Amp. Let me know what you guys think. See you, bye.